I'm rolling.
Oh, okay.
Oh!
This is great because we like these things. Okay.
Welcome to Hot Tub Time Machine, the podcast. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Michelle.
And we're sisters. By the same mister, we think.
Nope, can't say that.
Yes, we can.
RW would be very, very angry.
So this is the podcast where we talk about hot trending topics and childhood traumas. So today we're going to talk about first ever episode, Bridgerton season 3.
Are we doing the whole season 3 or just a specific episode?
We're doing the whole season.
Excellent, I love that.
So basically, I'm obsessed with Bridgerton. I've read every book. Michelle's watched the episodes, I believe.
All of the episodes.
And
I'm actually, I would like to say, an expert on Bridgerton season 3.
Are you an expert on Nicola Coughlan?
I do absolutely love her, and I have to say that I was firstly introduced to her by my daughter because she was an absolute freak over a show called The Dairy Girls.
Okay, so would you have sex with her? Not your daughter, obviously.
I would have to say that if I was to choose one of the female cast members from Bridgerton to have sex with, it would be Eloise.
No.
It's because she's a lesbian.
No,
in real life?
No, she's not.
No, in the show.
Wait,
she's not. She gives off lesbian energy.
Oh, so here's the
So
thing.
you're not a fan.
So wait, I know.
If you don't have sex with Nicola Coughlan, I'm not a lesbian. I would do what I could
feel
for her.
she looks too young to me. She looks too. I've looked at her. She looks too young to me. I can't. I think maybe that's why I would say Eloise, but also, I think that
Eloise.
Queen Charlotte.
God,
I love
no.
her.
No.
I love her.
No.
But have you watched the interviews?
Yeah.
With them.
Yeah.
Right. Where they all. I think she's a baddie.
I would only have sex with Nicola Coughlan. I'm really not a lesbian, but she's the only one that I feel that strongly about.
I absolutely have so many endearing feelings towards her, but not sexual. And I think... So fun fact, we had a little bit of a camera situation after a couple of tries. You know, we're new here. This is raw. This is where we're at. So now we are recording on a different device, so... Hope you like it. Back to Bridgerton.
So, we were just discussing a little bit off camera, which will bring you up to speed. Is Luke Newton a boy, or is he a nice boy and they're just besties?
So, I think that, like I said, the interpretations when I'm watching their interviews and stuff, I feel that Luke Newton absolutely adores her.
He does.
And from her, I get bestie vibe.
I mean, Nick said this is her favourite of my outfits for the whole tour so far. So I'm really pleased to be wearing it. I think it's so cool.
Barbie has a great day every day, but Ken only has a great day if Barbie looks at him.
Hi, Barbie!
Hi, Ken!
So I get that, I get that he's just smitten with her, and she, to me, is not returning that.
And I disagree. My feeling is she was crushing on him from the beginning. First couple of seasons, he had that serious girlfriend. He was not interested. Fine. She's a doll. Third, he goes through this traumatic breakup, and he's a method actor. He goes insane. He thinks he can't differentiate between Nicola and Penelope. This is my evidence. There is an interview where he's talking, and he makes an off-the-cut remark, and he says Penelope, or he says Pen. He's like, she's so funny. And I was like, no, she's not. Does Penelope make but one joke in the whole series? Who's funny? Nicola's funny.
Nicola's funny. Would you say that Pen wasn't funny in it? I thought she had some good.
I thought she had some good. She made a Lord Byron joke, I believe, in season 1, and that's the only joke she ever made. She's not funny. Nicola's funny.
Let's talk about the two-finger theory.
Ooh, wow. Can I just say, this is where the showrunner did us dirty. Nobody wants this. Sorry, no girl does. I don't know if the showrunner wants that, but no girl does. In the books, the carriage, first of all, the carriage scene comes after, spoiler alert for the book, after she finds out that she's Lady Whistledown.
He finds out that she's Lady Whistledown.
Then the carriage scene happens, then the engagement happens. He's never mad, ever, in the book. He's a little disappointed, but he's never mad. He would never say she entrapped him, and he's amazing. So the whole plot is just...
Wait, I feel like you're missing what I'm talking about with the two fingers.
The carriage scene is amazing in the book. It's like a makeout. I believe her boobs are out. There's no finger action. Nobody wants that.
So my sister has completely missed what I'm talking about.
About him going with the two fingers when he cleans her up?
So what happens is that when he is putting the straps back on her dress, when they're done, everything, he does it with the two fingers, he keeps it up like this. So he does this, right? Method actor. Funny that you said that.
Can I just say that he definitely grabs Mom's fingers and gives a hug after the occasion with those same dirty fingers?
So they're in
there
an
was
interview.
no hand washing.
They're in an interview.
I
And
saw
Nicola
it. She's
says
like,
to him, "Did you know?" And he
know?
goes, "I absolutely did that on purpose."
I don't
And
know.
she was like, "Oh!" Like that. But
Yeah.
this brings me to the point where she's like laughing mortified, and he's like, "Yeah, I did." Like, he loves her.
Yes, okay, so there's also an interview where it's her and the Francesca and Claudia, and they say, have you ever had a crush on anyone you've worked with? And they're all like, yeah. Well, I think Hannah Dodd was like, oh, I don't know, maybe. And Nicholas says, well, our casts are so good looking.
You just said Francesca and Claudia.
Yeah. Hannah Dodd is her real name.
I know. I was going to say, we went with a character name and a real name.
Well, okay,
we have
so
to be a little bit.
It's
Melissa, get it together.
It's Hannah Dodd. And
Alright.
she says, I don't know. And she's like, well, our cast is so good looking. And one of them's like, oh no, not this cast. And she's like, oh yeah, no.
It's always exciting to have a crush. Oh, it happens way too often.
Does it?
Not on this job.
Doing it to fit in. And also because there must have, right? There must have
There
been
was
a part
some
where-
point. It's a very attractive cast, let's be real.
Oh, we're on this job.
On Bridgerton.
Oh, no, in general.
In Bridgerton. No, I don't think.
So she definitely admitted to having a crush on somebody on set in that interview.
Who did? I lost
Nicola.
you. Nicola did.
Nicola did.
Okay.
In an interview.
No, she was saying Francesca and Claudia, and so I lost it there a little bit.
Nicola, I feel like she definitely has feelings for him. I feel like he effed her over a little bit with the girlfriend situation, which is, it is what it is. But my thing is, I don't think he's good enough for her anyway. I feel like he's like, every interview she's like, he's such a good guy, he's this, he's that, and he's like, I feel the same way about you. And it's like, that's not good enough for Nicola. That might be good enough for supporting characters, not good enough for Nicola. She needs someone who's going to be like, you're amazing, you're hot, you're the best. She deserves that. So I don't think he's good enough for her anyway, but...
I don't know, sometimes they say like actions speak louder than words, and they've
What
got
are
a lot
the
of
actions?
the way he looks at her, the way you did the same thing, you did the mouth thing. He
does.
touches his mouth,
I
he
know,
looks at
but
her,
that's-
and he stares at her. Actually, there was
But
one
that makes
clip.
me think of like a
Did you see the clips of 5 ways that you know somebody's absolutely
Yes, I did
enamored,
see
and it
that.
shows like, and he doesn't. So to me, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, who knows? Maybe they were banging boots behind the scenes. We don't know.
I think they banged in Brazil.
Possibly, it doesn't matter. I mean, are we talking Bridgerton or are we talking?
Okay, back to Bridgerton. So, not only was I not happy about this situation because no one wants that, and this is supposed to be for women, but I wasn't happy about the mirror scene.
I know you said the mirror scene and the other scene you didn't like.
The final scene?
No, what's that thing that
That's the chaise is the mirror scene.
shades? Okay, yeah.
My thought is, anyone, no matter what your body type, if you're sitting on a chaise lounge like this, you're not gonna look good, no matter what. They did her dirty.
But she has not had any qualms about that. She actually felt very empowered, she said.
I'm glad
about
she
that.
felt empowered, but I feel like, first of all, they put her in that situation where they put her in the worst possible light, in my opinion. And then in the last scene, they're like, how about you wear a full ball gown for this final sex scene? Is she not in a full outfit?
But do we know, did she request it?
I don't know if she requested it or not, but I feel like she had no qualms about being... Like, I just feel like if she would have done the mirror scene, because in the books there is no chaise. That is not what happens in the books at all. But if she would have gone from the mirror to a bed, she would have not had those unflattering angles and all this craziness, and then there would be like, why is there this beautiful piece of silk? Like, it's so weird. It's so like, we better cover you up.
So I saw a couple of interviews, and one of the takes on it was that, you know, people say, oh, this was the season of Penelope finding herself, and it was argued that she already knew who she was. Penelope, this season wasn't about Penelope, it was about Colin. It was about Colin figuring out and coming to terms with the fact that he actually loves Pen, and he sees Pen. Pen already knows who she is. She kind of figured that out, I feel like, in the last season, and she was just defining it more. And you could see that with like changes to, you know, how she did her hair. That was, I think, one of the biggest symbolisms for when she was coming into herself, was changing that crazy curl top that they had and then making her elegant. Fun fact though, actually, somebody caught a mistake that they did. Now, I know that the scene where she runs out and she throws the clip out, the reason why she threw the clip out was because it had broke. So she throws the clip out, altercation with Colin, she goes home, she's writing, and when she's writing, the clip's back in. Yeah. So somebody had noticed that was just a fun thing that I was watching about with that. But as I said, she seemed like this wasn't, and I agree, and I feel like that whole, you know, oh, we're doing a service for Nicola or for Penelope because, oh, let's make the chubby girl the princess, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, she is unapologetically herself, and that's what I love about Nicola as an actress.
But here's the thing too, I get really pissed when people call her chubby or big, because that girl's still tiny.
Very
tiny.
is.
She's like smaller than I am in real life. She just has big old tats that are beautiful.
And she's
small. She's short, right?
She is, and she has.
But when people are like, "Oh, mixed weight relationship," like, what the F is that? And also, I'll argue that when Colin was chubbier, he was way better looking. I think he looked old and a little raggedy.
Well, and to be honest, for me, and you had asked before, like, who I would nail, the only attractive person on Bridgerton so far that I saw was the Duke of Hastings.
Ooh, I like the Duke.
He is by far my favorite.
I wouldn't marry him.
Oh,
I don't like his
hands
personality.
Down.
He's got way too much trauma.
Oh, also the second season, what was her name? The sister, Kate. She would be my girl crush. Yeah, I think she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
I think they made Penelope look good this year, but the previous seasons they really made her look rough.
Yeah,
really rough. I wouldn't be like, you. No.
You've ruined Colin for me, because
Colin looks like her son, and it ruined the whole, like, this season was ruined for me. But I thought, before this season, I thought all the men were gay. I thought Luke Thompson was gay, I thought Luke Newton was gay, and I thought Johnny Bailey was gay. Johnny Bailey is gay, but he's the only one. Benedict.
No, Luke Thompson is gay.
No, he's dating that girl.
No.
He's dating Harriet on the show. He's dating her sister in real life.
Anthony
is Johnny Bailey.
Oh, you said Benedict.
I thought they were all gay.
You just said Jonathan Bailey was Benedict.
No, he's Anthony. And he is the Bridgerton brother I would go with.
Yes, Anthony is the one
He's my favorite when he was like, oh, God. He's the best.
Not too.
This is not your family. This is not your family podcast, folks. 18 plus warning. We're gonna need to put on this.
He's the best. He's the best. I thought they were all gay, so I didn't really have any skin in that game.
I think one of the things that I like about that, I mean, again, definitely Duke of Hastings, gorgeous, attractive man for sure. But I think that it's also fun to watch, being the fact that I'm not invested in any of the characters, but I really love the storyline. And I haven't read the books. You have read the books. I haven't read the books. This is like one of the first series
books that I've read.
Yeah, this is one of the series that I never even heard. Where did you hear about this? When did you hear about a Bridgerton book?
Well, I definitely saw the fun fact. So it was COVID, and I see Bridgerton. I thought, oh, put this on, watch while while the kids are playing in the basement. 10 seconds in, I see Johnny Bailey against a tree. I was like, no! Boom! And then I was like, oh, it's a book. And then I just read all the books.
We're avid readers. That's one thing about us.
But I read the books before bed, so then I never remember what I've read. I just know I've read it. So then I re-listened to Romancing Mr. Bridgerton recently on audiobook, so that's why I'm like, got ragey, because I was like, you did them dirty. I hate fighting for no reason other than to fight, and I feel like they do this with all these books, like, oh, let's add some drama. Like, I don't want your drama. I didn't want Benedict's threesomes. Like, no. I wanted more sex with Colin and Penn, and I wanted, and I heard this somewhere too, because I watch all the TikToks about, like, there wasn't enough of her being desired by him and, like, dirty sex scenes for nothing other than perverts like me. It was like, oh, here's your virginal, first time, and then here you are in a ball gown at the end. Like, there's no, like, how there was with, like, Daphne and Simon, or even, like, Kate and Anthony, like, these sex scenes just for sex scenes were in season 3, right?
Funny, because we're rewatching season 1 right now, my husband and I, and it's funny to go back once you've seen all of them to kind of take a look for some, like, foreshadowing or anything like that. And to see, I think that maybe they could have built that, because right from the start you see that Penelope absolutely loves Colin. He is now engaged to
Marina.
Yeah, and she's beside herself and everything. And I think that they could have done a little bit more foreshadowing of what would become Penelope and Colin, because there is none of that. But again, like you said, the difference of how they built her aesthetically throughout the 3 seasons is quite, even the colors of what she wore, you'll notice that I think she did a couple really loud numbers at the beginning of season 3, and then she went into the muted pinks and purples and champagnes.
There's so many behind the scenes things talking about how every color represents, like, a different emotion, and there
also,
is, like,
did you see how many, like, layers are in her?
Those dresses are very, very nice.
And she said she loved wearing them, but
Did
and
you
I wish
see
I could wear
that
those.
interview where they're like, were you allowed to keep any of your dresses, Nicola? And Luke's like, I wish he was. Did you see that one?
I didn't.
And
But you're proving my point a little bit more.
Everyone's just like, what? Yeah, he's definitely talking about the wedding dress, which was very, very nice. Except
is he talking about the wedding dress, or is he talking about the carriage dress? He's talking about the carriage dress.
Oh, I don't know. I think
he's talking about the 2-finger carriage dress. That's what he's talking about. Come on, folks.
I think there was a.
Tell me, is he talking about the carriage dress or the wedding dress?
I just want to say as well that in the book, before they have sex for the first time, he does a lot more preparation for her, rather than and then like, what's happening next? It wasn't that way. They did.
I'm
call
the older
him dirty.
sibling, if you can tell.
They did call him dirty. I'm just saying, because the books are all about women, and like, it's like women's porn, and that's not anyone's kind of
segue
porn.
into the all about women. How do you feel about Queen Charlotte?
Oh, I loved it.
I absolutely loved it. It was my favorite. I would like to do the 1 season with my husband, because we have an agreement right now that we're watching 1 episode of Bridgerton for me, and then 1 episode of The Wire for him. That's his favorite show. I've already watched season 1 of The Wire, and we're now continuing on with season 2. The problem is that I'm usually good for 1 episode and 1 episode only, so when he does it wrong and does Bridgerton first and I fall asleep on The Wire, things get a little crazy. But I'd like to do the season 1 of Bridgerton, and then I'd like to segue him over to Queen Charlotte, because I thought that Queen Charlotte
I think you're supposed
brilliant.
to watch it between season 2 and 3, because there's spoilers for season 2 if you don't watch it in order.
Oh, okay,
She
good call.
talks about Anthony's married in Queen Charlotte.
Good call.
Do
Okay,
you
that's a good
think
one.
that they're going to do a Violet Bridgerton in between season 3 and 4, like how they surprised us with Queen Charlotte? Because I think they are.
I think so, and I think that
I
be
think
great.
they know they have to.
Well, let's talk about season 4. Let's talk about the spoilers, because I know you had talked earlier about Eloise and saying that she gave you like a lesbian vibe, which is funny because
No, that was off camera. Someone else. I said I wanted to be a lesbian with Nick. Not that I want to, but I would. I
thought you said that you gave it, and I said, but that was one of the things that I think
would still want to be best friends with Claudia Jessie. She seems like
so funny.
Great. I don't think I could be married to her. I think after a while I'd be like, you need to stop.
When they asked her, when they were doing an interview, and they said, one of the questions for her was, the cast had to say what she would have answered, and it was like, what do you think are your similarities between your character Eloise and actually you? What would you say? And you know, the cast is saying you're funny, you're endearing, you're, you know, this and this, and her answer was, we both smoke. That's what that was. That
But
was
I've
just
also
second.
seen ones where she says I'm more of a Penelope, so I think she is like much different. In real
But
life.
and I find that a lot of people forget. Was it season 1 or season 2 where she had that little rendezvous with the
Season 2.
Yeah, I think that got forgotten, so overshadowed, because I think what I thought was when cut to season 3 when Francesca and husband,
Oh, that beautiful black man.
when they're going off and his cousin's there, I thought that because Eloise is going, I thought that was gonna bud the
There's gotta
romance.
be something stirring.
His cousin in the book is a man, so she comes as Michelle on
Michaela.
the
Yeah.
Michaela in the
Yes.
thing. So in the books, apparently Francesca, which I think is weird, and I don't know how they're going to play this, because I felt that they actually played a connection between John and Francesca that was unmatched. So for her to just all of a sudden get, but they did foreshadow it with Violet saying,
Should-
"You will know because I couldn't. Your father made it so that I couldn't speak."
Should they have thrown that much into one season?
It was a lot. And that was another thing, and actually funny that you brought that up, because I felt it was a little bit unfair that they really had a side scene that was going on, or a side plot in season 3 that was going along with Anthony and Kate. Because that side thing is like, you already had your season, now we're going on with the pregnancy and the this and that. And I was like,
I think that
they didn't give it all. They didn't,
because I don't believe that the showrunner thought that the audience would go along with
Yeah.
Nicola as a
yeah,
leading lady.
I agree.
And dumbass, biggest streams.
We're gonna bleep
everyone,
that, maybe.
No, everyone's obsessed with her. You were wrong. You, pollen season, because you put on all these side things. You made them fight, so we couldn't even enjoy them. And then now it's just like, okay, on to Benedict. No. And now what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to do what you did with Anthony and Kate and be like, okay, well, you're popular, so we're going to bring you back and we're going to give you some of Benedict's time.
No, Daphne left the show.
What happened was Reggae did not want to be typecast, and he thought he was going to take off after Bridgerton, which he did not.
Who's Reggae?
That's who played Simon Bassett.
Oh, I loved him.
And so Reggae took off. They did what they could with Daphne. They didn't even bring her back for the season for even the weddings.
She came back.
No, she didn't. She wasn't in season 3.
Oh, not in season 3. She was in
No.
season 2. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I wondered if they would have given them a lot more time, like in season 2.
But they gave him so much time in season 1.
Yeah, because they did properly. It should have been. It should have been. So then I feel like they tried to bring Anthony back. But the problem with Anthony, with Jonathan Bailey, which will be the same problem with Nicola Coughlan, is that he's in demand. He's going to be the new Jurassic Park lead. He was in Wicked. He's in CAA just like she is. So he's not going to commit 8 months of the year to filming and then the 6 months promoting or whatever. He's too busy for the show now. So that's why him and Kate came, and it was like they came, we're going to India. They came this. And it's going to be like Nicola will go one more season and she'll do what she can. And I guarantee they will have sex scenes. Her and Luke will have sex scenes in season 4. Even though it's not necessary because they did the fans dirty and they think that it's going to help, which it will help. But after this, she's going to be too busy. She'll be like a Daphne, and then she'll be gone because she's too busy. She's too big of a star for this much of a commitment. And they kind of screwed her over.
Well, do you think that we should leave it at that for now then with our predictions?
Do you think there's deleted scenes? I think
So I think there definitely are. Do you think that they'll be released?
never, because that would admit they're wrong. Because at one point, I signed the petition, and Nicola Coughlan had it on her. She had it on one of her socials, like sign the petition to get the deleted scenes, and then she said, "Oh no, there aren't any." But I definitely signed the petition.
Producer 2 would like to chime in on
Producer
this.
2 wants a topic. The mirror scene, the thing that she sits on, they said that they filmed it multiple times, apparently, but Nicola Coughlan posted a picture before the episode came out of, what's it called that she sits on?
Shays.
One of the legs broke off.
Yeah, they broke it.
Yeah, they
I
broke
remember
it.
But that scene was not leg
I
breaking
agree.
worthy.
It wasn't. You were right.
But this is the
That's
thing.
it. That's the deleted scene. You're right.
No. What they said was they tried it different ways.
Yeah.
So they were trying was Jack Rabbity, and she said, because she has an interview, and she's like, I could tell just by looking at him, we could communicate what was going on. We didn't need to talk, and I could tell he thought we were killing this. And that's when they broke it. And then they had to do all these things to make it so it didn't break again. But here's the other thing I wanted to say. That's messed up. Okay, so you can follow their intimacy coordinator on TikTok, and they will show you what he was wearing. And it's basically like a drawstring bag, and she's wearing a sticker. And basically, so they're wearing that, and they're doing that for a day. Like, that's dry humping.
Well, also, and going back with speaking of the intimacy coordinator, their carriage scene, they were so...
No, I have a theory. Keep going.
They were so enthralled with it. Both of them have said it. They were so enthralled with it that they had cut the scene and they didn't hear them. And it was to the fact that they had to come and actually yell, "Stop!" for them to hear.
My theory is that's a lie.
How do you have a theory over what they've said?
Listen, my theory is the first time that came out was when Netflix did a little like interview on set or just after. And my theory is that the PR team told them that story to tell, because if you actually look at it, none of that makes sense. They have said that there was 4 men moving the carriage.
Yeah.
If he yelled cut, they would have stopped moving that carriage.
Would they have noticed?
They said it was soundproof.
How many people have gotten walked in on or something like that because they've just not noticed their surroundings because they were so into the moment?
I'm sorry, but if someone's... I'm waiting for it to be over.
I mean, they weren't really.
There's windows. There's a camera. I don't believe it. I think that was made up for PR. I do believe
I don't agree.
I believe they broke the shays, but I don't believe that actually happened.
This was...
Because the story changed a lot from like... They yelled cut to, I just said we were at Bridgerton House. Like, there's different versions. To me, it sounds like they fed them the story to be like, okay, we're going to amp up part 1. This is our part 1 story. And these are the...
Well, the one interview that I saw, they asked, what's your favorite line from season 3? And she couldn't say it. They had an inside joke, and he's like, I know what yours is, but they wouldn't say the favorite line. And then they said, what's your favorite scene? And then she said, definitely the carriage scene. She said that herself. And then that's when they went on the story. So I don't know, maybe they are trying to, like, I have now Colin's carriage ride t-shirt, which I can't.
Oh, I want that shirt so bad. But listen, even if you maybe just had friendly vibes, if you're making out with someone, if they're telling you for like 8 months, I love you so much.
Oh, you're catching feelings. Look at all the past.
Blurred. Yeah.
Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie. Look at all the actors that have cheated on their spouses and become...
The sex scenes nowadays are so graphic. You're at least third basing it. I don't even know if you're chub rub like for 8 hours.
There's also actors and actresses that refuse a sex scene because they won't do it to their partners. They won't do that to their spouses. Is that cheating?
I think it's...
That's a question, dear listeners. Is it cheating?
I think that...
Absolutely not.
I think...
You don't think it's cheating?
It's a job.
Yeah, but it's a job.
Cheating if you make it cheating.
It's a job with the perks of making it.
It's a dangerous. I feel like it's a slippery slope that you're going on. Like you said, there have been Angelina and Brad Pitt.
Who else has fallen in love?
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
There definitely something went down.
Thank you.
I
do not cut that.
I think Nicola Coughlan is an angel. I would marry her in a heartbeat. I don't care. I'm not a lesbian, but I would be for her. But I think 90% of actresses and actors are nuts. I think to do that job makes you crazy because you have yes men around you, you have money, fame, you're detached from reality. So for you to go and be like, I think of course that's cheating on your partner, but for you to want that job and to do those things, like, I don't know. Maybe that's why she is like very private and single, because it is like that kind of job.
I feel like on that note, we're going to wrap this up. Listeners, please tell us,
is Luke Newton an F-boy? Does he deserve Nicola Coughlan? Should she have stayed with Eamon? Because I really enjoyed that.
He was also a cutie, I felt, on the...
I thought he was a cutie in season 1. Who liked him better when he was a little chubbier? and his hair was a little longer.
Oh, I'm not thinking about who you were thinking about.
Who are you thinking about?
I was thinking
Oh,
about
Simon Bassett?
no, I was
Get
on
your head out of season
no,
1.
I was in season 3. Who was the
Who would prefer to see her with Luke Thompson?
no? Who was her suitor? Who was her that guy?
Deadline?
The blonde guy.
No.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
I don't
But
like
we're
an
gonna go
adult
with that and let
blonde
us
hair.
know. Obviously, we have lots to talk about on the subject.
No,
what would
no,
you like
we're
to hear
not
us?
done. We didn't do our childhood trauma.
Yeah,
We're
this
cutting
for the
down
segment.
this segment.
Oh, fine.
Next segment.
We're gonna
Moving
cut
on.
down that segment. Stop this. Thank you.
Yay!
Now we're coming to the best part of the podcast. The reason we're in the hot tub time machine. This is where we randomly write topics of childhood.
You said trauma, but I don't feel like it's trauma.
It's
These
not
are more funny stories.
This is not trauma. It's funny stories, but this is where we go in the time machine and we talk about old times. So our producer has picked, I brought some topics. She's picked for me. And Michelle doesn't know what this is, but we're going to talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it.
It's called Bloody Mary Apartment Break-In.
That's what that said.
Is this about me and am I going to be embarrassed?
You might be embarrassed. We're going to take you back to about 1990. Okay.
The court?
We are in
The court.
our father's old apartment building.
Apartment?
We have recently discovered Bloody Mary the game.
I remember that.
Someone, not to name names, Dad, left Michelle in charge of us while he went out for the evening, and we decided to play Bloody Mary.
I am having faint recollections, but not.
So, what I remember from this scenario is, we're in the bathroom.
Okay, let's cut first because I have to remember which apartment. Are we talking about the barn apartment?
No.
We're talking about the apartment building. Gotcha.
We're talking
okay.
about the apartment building.
So we're young.
maybe earlier
I'm
than 90.
10 or 11 then?
Okay, so you're 10. So then
You're
we're
6?
We're talking the mid 80s then. So we're talking late 80s at this point. The 10-year-old's in charge for the evening.
Late 80s. Let's be honest. In the 80s, late 80s, I was only 10. So,
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, gotcha.
And I don't know who had we were playing Bloody Mary. I remember that.
It's when you had to go in the bathroom.
You
spin
literally
3
go to
times.
the bathroom and you say, Bloody Mary, I killed your baby, because that's a thing.
Yeah, I remember. Do you remember? We should do a clip as to what Bloody Mary actually is based on.
Okay.
It is actually something. So we'll do the research and put that in here about Bloody.
No, we're not going to do that. Michelle does not edit, and I cannot do that. No thanks.
Mary, who that actually was.
And basically what I remember is getting so freaked out, and this is obviously like, there's no cell phones, no one's checking in to see how the kids are. So then when Dad comes home at whatever effing hour, the chain lock was on the apartment. We were all huddled somewhere unconscious, and he had to kick down the door to get back in.
I don't remember that.
Oh.
I mean, I definitely remember us probably doing something stupid like that. But I do feel like when we were growing up, even though there's 4 years between us and you're younger, I was definitely the scaredy cat of it. So I feel like you would have. Was our brother there?
100%.
And he must have been the instigator.
100%.
I totally forgot. Speaking of trauma, I forgot to put down probably the most traumatic experience of our childhood.
I know I didn't put it down, but I didn't know if it lent itself to fun, lighthearted when it's near death.
I mean, I don't think we were dying. I think it is actually funny.
No, someone had something somewhere where they were like.
Okay, we gotta go on that. I think that's gonna be definitely one to come on a next episode.
Yeah, we'll have to put it on. But someone was talking about being locked in a freezer, and they're like,
Well,
"Did you have a near-death experience? Did you see Jesus?" And I was like, "Did I?"
No, we weren't near death.
We were near death.
Tune in,
Tune
follow,
If we
share
were near death
to
or
see
not.
this near-death experience.
I know it was
Like a
downplayed.
podcast.
Pardon?
I don't think you can like a podcast.
Absolutely, you
No,
subscribe
we're
to
gonna have it
podcasts.
on YouTube.
Oh, the
That's why we're
YouTube.
videoing it.
TikTok.
YouTube.
So do all of the things. Go to all of the places. We're gonna list it.
Okay, Michelle's topic is number 2, Christmas preview.
Christmas preview.
Christmas preview. Okay, so we are in high school. And do you know why Mom moved our rooms around? Like, brother always had the same room, but for some reason you and I switched. Do you remember why? I don't remember why. Anyway, but I remember, so I'm now in your old room. That's where I'm.
No.
Yeah.
You never took my room.
I totally did.
Oh, but I definitely remember rifling through your first room. We were not in different rooms. I just was in your room.
You were in my room, but it was your old room.
No.
Absolutely.
It was the front room.
No.
I feel like I remember rifling.
No, I remember it.
Let's move on.
So good. I was in your room.
Basically,
No, you're not gonna take over my picture. But so I was in the room. So at the time, Melissa had to intern, and this wasn't even back in the day.
Intern?
You at Mom's work.
That
You used
was
to
a
work there.
crappy job.
Yeah.
Intern is free.
Oh, you were paid for it?
Yeah, I wouldn't
Okay,
go there
so
for free.
Okay, so this was before you had to do hours for high school, because we never had to do that. We never had to do community hours for high
No,
school.
but we did co-op, but yeah.
Yeah. So Melissa worked in my mom's job, and it was very close to our house. So it was around Christmas time, and my mom had asked me if I would pick her up because you were done before she was. So, and I am now, I want to say I'm not in high school anymore. I must have come back from university because I'm working full time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think that's why we did the switch when I came back from university,
Yeah,
because
that
I had
could
my
have
own
happened.
line installed into that room. So I think that's around the era because I had money or more money. So I think I was like waitressing full time or something like that. But anyway, so I had the Christmas prep all my stuff ready and this and that. And I don't even think I had a boyfriend at the time or whatever. So I go, and I had told my whole family about this one gift that I had gotten Melissa, because she was very much like hipster vibes, band t-shirts kind of thing, low-rise pants, flares, like almost like hippie vibes, but also like statement shirts and stuff like that. So I had found this, like, I was so excited for it. I had found this shirt that was like a scratch and sniff, and I found a picture of the type of shirt. It was a scratch and sniff shirt, which was like totally her vibe. So I was really excited to give it to her. So anyways, I go and I pick her up, and I don't notice it right away because it's like Christmas and we live in Canada or whatever. So I don't remember when I noticed that she's wearing this freaking shirt. And the thing about my sister is the worst thing about you when you were growing up is like she is unapologetic. Like she's completely in the wrong, and so I'm like, and I was Miss Dramatics, maybe still am, and I'm emotion girl. So I see her and I'm like, Oscar award winning presentation of me, like, what have you done? This is your and Melissa was just like, oh well. I'm pretty sure that was your answer.
What had happened was, one day I was like, I need a shirt to wear. Go into old Shiki's room. Dig. This looks great.
But you must have been digging in bags.
I can't remember. I just remember being like, this even fits.
And you took a tag. You would have had to have taken the tag off. Like, you would have known, tag. Here it is. Like, this is no boundaries.
And then when she found out, she was like, well, that's for Christmas. I'm like, great, it fits. And she's like, well, you're not getting a watch. And I'm like, don't give a crap.
She didn't care. And it was a Tommy Hilfiger watch, which I will insert the model. It was very close to it.
Stand by.
I remember it was the worst. And I think that was like our childhood, is that Melissa would wind me up because she was this silent, not a big crier. I was a huge crier, huge emotions. I remember that. It took me, I'm not really sure that I'm over that situation, but here we are in my hot tub. So that's our traumas for the day.
I hope you enjoyed the time machine.
We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.